Hermes is in deep trouble, and this time it might not recover. A luxury brand that built its entire image on scarcity, exclusivity, and made in France craftsmanship is now being ripped apart from the inside. And it's not just one person speaking out, it's a coordinated attack. A former Hermes insider has allegedly joined forces with the very Chinese manufacturers Hermes tried to bury. Together, they're not just exposing the truth, they're trying to take the whole empire down.
It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. Put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
The claim that those $20,000 0 cents plus Birkin bags, supposedly handcrafted by elite French artisans, were actually mass-produced in Chinese factories, shipped off for finishing touches, then slapped with a Made in France label to keep the lie alive. Look at this, is bigger than just fraud. It's a betrayal of every loyal customer, collector, and investor who ever bought into the Hermes myth. And the fact that these two sides, one from inside the brand, the other from the shadows of the production line, are now teaming up. That's not a leak. That's an execution. In the fashion world, it's watching in disbelief.
It requires a lot of skill to turn it and get it on the right way.
Il y a des bouchées, des bacs plus 4, 5, 6, on en a.
For years, Birkin has sold the idea that every Birkin, every Kelly, every single bag was handcrafted by skilled French artisans who spent years perfecting their craft. But now a former employee is calling blisht. This insider didn't just leak rumors, they dropped receipts. According to this whistleblower, a huge portion of the work is done outside of France, specifically in Chinese factories under strict secrecy. We're not talking about hardware or packaging, we're talking core components of the bags.
De l'entrée, on me donne des morceaux de cuir jusqu'au moment où je vais avoir livré ma pièce. Je veux pas qu'on reproduise un geste de façon indéfinie en se disant bon bah je fais toujours ce même geste et je pense qu'on est vraiment là pour apprendre un métier et pas des tâches.
Leather cutting, stitching, assembly, the very things Hermes charges 5 figures for. And here's the worst part. These aren't just random factories. They're the same ones Hermes allegedly threatened with legal action if they ever spoke up.
These are pieces of artwork. These artisans train years and years to make one of these bags.
Fabrice is doing the last stitching on a Kelly bag. A Kelly takes around 13 hours to be made, depending on the materials that we make it. Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag.
Hermes says, made in China, does it feel cheaper? No, that's not a quality issue. It's luxury brand washing.
Hermes, you guys, it's time to show off your factories. No, I don't want to wait to go on YouTube and watch a beautiful documentary on show them off right here on TikTok. Let the world see. Okay, get like China. You got to be ghetto about it. Just let people know.
The whistleblower claims the entire process is hidden from the public, with parts secretly shipped to France for minimal finishing, just enough to legally slap on that Made in France tag. And this isn't a recent trend. The insider claims this has been going on for years, protected by NDAs, corporate silence, and carefully controlled narratives. This revelation didn't just shake customers, it blew up entire forums. Luxury Reddit threads, Discord groups, and even handbag investment communities are scrambling to figure out how much of their collections are part of the lie. Industry experts have weighed in, calling the whistleblower's claims credible and, more importantly, verifiable. If the documents, shipment records, and production schedules line up, Hermes could be facing international lawsuits, refund demands, and a total collapse of brand trust.
This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD.
Have you all seen that TikTok by the Chinese guy exposing how luxury goods are actually made? The only real difference? China ships the products to Europe, slaps on a Made in France or Made in Italy label, and boom, luxury? It's ridiculous.
And the timing couldn't be worse, because just as the whistleblower dropped the bomb, the manufacturers they tried to silence came out swinging. The whistleblower might have cracked the door open, but the Chinese manufacturers, they kicked it off the hinges. For years, these factories operated in silence, bound by NDAs, gag clauses, and unspoken threats. They weren't allowed to say a word, not to the press, not to investors, not even to their own workers. Hermes made sure of that, but now those same manufacturers are done playing nice. Multiple factory owners and former managers have come forward, backing up the whistleblower's claims with photos, documents, and insider knowledge. And what they're saying is damning.
Got a lot of requests, do Hermes next. And that's why we're here in the Highland Park Mall.
Italy, made in China, or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way. I have spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so expensive.
They allege that entire batches of Birkin bags were stitched, assembled, and finished almost entirely in China, then sent to France for minor adjustments. A rivet here, a stitch there, just enough to claim final production occurred in Europe. Why? So Hermes could legally slap a made in France label on it and charge you $25,000 0 cents for what was basically a repackaged import. And here's where it gets worse. Some of these manufacturers claim they were explicitly told not to leave any trace that the bags came from China. That means no made in China tags, no export receipts, nothing that would connect the dots. The goal was simple: protect the illusion at all costs. One manufacturer even leaked internal messages that appeared to show Hermes reps instructing factory staff to use European stitching patterns, even if the work was being done in Shenzhen or Dongguan. This wasn't an accident. This was a coordinated deception. And now that the truth is coming out, the factories are flipping the script. They're not just exposing Hermes, they're teaming up with the whistleblower to burn the entire cover-up to the ground. And just when the pressure hit its peak, Hermes did exactly what billion-dollar companies always do when caught red-handed. They lawyered up. Hermes didn't deny the allegations outright. They didn't issue a heartfelt apology or promise to investigate. Oh, thanks. The brand immediately launched legal attacks against multiple Chinese manufacturers, accusing them of breaking confidentiality agreements, stealing intellectual property, and tarnishing the Hermes brand. Translation: you told the truth and now we're coming after you. But the manufacturers are not backing down. In fact, they flipped the legal narrative. They're now arguing that Hermes misused NDAs to hide unethical practices from the public. They claim they were forced to stay silent about production conditions that would never fly in France. Mass production lines, rushed quality checks, and even subcontracting out to smaller factories when demand surged. Their message is clear. This wasn't about protecting trade secrets. It was about protecting a lie. It's even worse for Hermes. Their legal strategy is starting to backfire because every court document, every leaked deposition, every retaliatory statement only draws more attention to the scandal, and the public, they're not siding with the billion-dollar brand. They're siding with the people who made the bags, the ones who were actually there, the ones who saw the leather get cut, stitched, and boxed up long before it ever saw a French workshop. Fashion insiders say Hermes is playing a dangerous game. If the case goes to trial, internal records could be exposed, contracts, shipment logs, supplier emails, evidence that could destroy the company's reputation permanently. And if even one judge sides with the manufacturers, that made in France label could go from symbol of luxury to punchline of the decade. Hermes didn't just lose face, they lost trust. When the news hit that their most prized bags might be coming out of Chinese factories instead of the romantic French ateliers they've been selling in every ad for decades, people felt lied to. And they weren't quiet about it. All over social media, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, Instagram, the luxury community went into full meltdown mode. Bag collectors, fashion influencers, and even longtime Hermes loyalists began questioning everything. You're telling me I waited 3 years, spent $30, 0 cents K, and got a bag from the same factory as knockoffs? That was just one of thousands of comments flooding videos and posts. Buyers didn't just feel ripped off, they felt humiliated, because for Hermes buyers, it's not just about the bag, it's about the story. The illusion of rarity, the idea that you earned your Birkin, that you were part of an elite exclusive club. But once people realized they were paying French luxury prices for Chinese assembly line work, the illusion collapsed. Refund demands started rolling in, resale prices dropped, consignment platforms reported an uptick in Hermes returns. Even major handbag forums like Purseblog and TPF started deleting posts because the drama was exploding beyond what the mods could handle. And here's the thing, this isn't just one bad news cycle, this is reputation collapse. Hermes spent decades building this image, and it took one whistleblower and a few factory leaks to destroy it. Customers now want answers, not PR statements, not influencer campaigns, just the truth. And until Hermes gives it to them, the damage isn't just done. It's still spreading. The only one sweating right now. The moment this story broke, every major luxury brand went into panic mode, because if Hermes, the standard of craftsmanship, heritage, and exclusivity, can be exposed like this, who's next? Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Dior, Prada. Suddenly, everyone's operations are under the microscope, and consumers aren't pulling punches. People are digging through old production records. They're questioning how brands justify $5,000 0 cents price tags when materials come from outsourced low-cost facilities. The floodgates are open, and the crowd isn't just angry, they're organizing. Videos are surfacing comparing real and fake versus fake bags, factory footage versus ad campaigns, and influencers versus reality. Even high-profile fashion YouTubers are calling this a reckoning for luxury fashion. The conversation has officially shifted. Before, is it worth it? Now, is it even real? And this hits deeper than product quality. It's about brand identity. These companies didn't just sell handbags. They sold status, dreams, a curated story that justified astronomical prices. Now, those dreams look manufactured. Industry analysts are already predicting major fallout. Some are calling for government regulation on country of origin labels. Others believe luxury fashion may be forced to adopt supply chain transparency tools like blockchain to rebuild trust. Either way, the game has changed. The question isn't whether Hermes will recover. Yes, the question is, which brand gets exposed next? This wasn't just a scandal, it was a blueprint. When the Hermes whistleblower came forward, most people expected damage, but not war. What no one saw coming was the team up with Chinese manufacturers, turning a leak into a full-scale takedown. This wasn't one person sounding the alarm. This was a coordinated effort between insiders and outsiders. People who had been silenced, ignored, or bound by legal threats for years. Together, they didn't just challenge Hermes' reputation, they shattered it. And the power of that alliance cannot be overstated. It's the first time in luxury fashion history that factory workers and corporate insiders united to expose a brand from both ends. One had the internal knowledge, the other had the receipts, literally shipping logs, production blueprints, timelines. They didn't just tell the story, they proved it. It's a masterclass in what happens when transparency finally wins over spin. Consumers didn't just believe the whistleblower, they related. Because for years, people have been fed the same luxury lie, that these products are rare, sacred, and untouched by the realities of modern mass production. But behind closed doors, it was always about volume, margins, and marketing theater. This whistleblower pulled back the curtain and millions saw what was really there. The result? People feel empowered. They're questioning other luxury purchases, demanding origin disclosures, pressuring influencers to stop blindly promoting bags without knowing the story behind them, and it's already starting to change the game. Some smaller luxury brands are now bragging about 100% transparent supply chains, others are scrambling to clean up partnerships and rewrite their labeling policies. Even investors are starting to look at manufacturing ethics as a reputational risk, all because one person said enough and someone else backed them up. This moment proves that whistleblowers don't just shake up industries, they can redefine them. But what happens next? That's what the luxury world fears the most. The collaboration between a Hermes whistleblower and Chinese manufacturers has unveiled alleged deceptive practices within the luxury fashion industry. As legal battles unfold and consumer trust wavers, the incident serves as a stark reminder of the importance of transparency and ethical conduct. The luxury market may never be the same as consumers become more vigilant and demand authenticity over allure.